Hi everybody, this is Crypto Rich, working with you to get rich with crypto, filling our pockets with crypto profits. And in this video, I'm bringing you another up-and-coming, low-cap, under-the-radar altcoin gem. I'm going to be speaking to the CEO and finding out all about this. Want to make money in crypto? This is Tokenmetrics. Tokenmetrics helps crypto investors build profitable portfolios using artificial intelligence-based crypto indices, trading indicators, rankings, and price predictions for more than 6,000 crypto assets. Affiliate link in the description below. Please watch out for comments from scammers purporting to be me or other crypto YouTubers asking you to contact them. Do not contact them. Hey, Tushar.
Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. Thank you for making yourself available. And I just want to be upfront. I do not hold any Persistence One tokens or tokens, right? So, and I know very little about the project because I like to come new, like what is this and stuff. And what I want to do, I'm going to ask you in a moment to introduce yourself. But first, as a hook, what is so, in one or two sentences, what is so special about Persistence One?
I think to begin with, I think it's a name, and what we stand for. I think you've seen, especially since June last year, DeFi Summer 1.0. We've seen a lot of folks who are extremely opportunistic, who've raised capital, and in a bull market, as you would know, anyone can raise capital. But we've actually, gone for a very long time in the depths of the bear market, and it has literally taken a lot of persistence, pun intended, to get to this point. And so I think from a listener's perspective, from the audience perspective, from a community's perspective, I think you can have more faith and belief that, if shit hits the fan tomorrow, we're still going to be around.
Very good, because you were through the bear market as well when it wasn't great. I got it. Okay. And Tushar, do you want to say a little bit about yourself? You're the CEO of Persistence One.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. So, currently I'm the co-founder and CEO of Persistence. Prior to starting Persistence, I was the first employee at Lunex Ventures, which is a crypto arm of a traditional venture capital fund called Golden Gate Ventures. So as the first employee, I was involved in everything from fund incorporation to fund structuring, working with lawyers, tax advisors, fund administrators, cybersecurity consultants, Monetary Authority of Singapore as the local regulator, to launch this dedicated, fully regulated crypto arm of a traditional venture capital fund. And then deployed that, raised capital from a publicly listed company in Japan, from multiple family offices around Southeast Asia, from the VC arm of a sovereign wealth fund, and then deployed that capital into multiple startups, both on the equity side as well as on the token side. But I always wanted to be an operator in addition to being a capital allocator, and hence the transition to starting Persistence One in the middle of 2019. So we've been around for a couple of years. What we're doing is building a few products that I'm sure we'll dig into, and it's been a very interesting journey for us, very fulfilling, very gratifying. We have a team of 31 people, and very excited to be on the show and dig into everything that we're up to.
All right, thank you. And when did you launch? Did you do an ICO or some other sort of place?
Yeah. So we launched through a BitMax auction, or now it's been rebranded to Ascendex. And that was towards the end of March, so end of Q1 this year. So, still fairly new on the market.
And how much did you raise on the auction?
We didn't raise much. We raised about $400,000.
Okay. In March 2021?
Yeah. So we raised. We started the organization in the middle of 2019. We raised a little bit of capital beginning of 2020 through some strategic validators, who raised a bigger round in September, a bigger private round in kind of July, August, September 2020, and then took the token to market in March 2021.
Okay, all right. And then what does Persistence One do?
Yeah. So like I mentioned, we're sort of creating an ecosystem of financial products. These products straddle across both institutional users as well as retail users. So the first product is called Comdex, which is a decentralized commodity trading platform geared towards institutional commodity traders, primarily based out of Singapore, Hong Kong, Kuala Lumpur, and Dubai as the four major commodity trading hubs in Asia. So on Comdex, what we do is basically facilitate the trading of physical commodities, and similar to how every crypto kitty is unique, every physical commodity is unique as well. And so we represent these commodities on chain using NFTs. So that's Comdex. And then we have two projects as far as proof of stake is concerned. So the first one is Audit One, where we run validator nodes on multiple proof of stake blockchains, such as the Cosmos Hub, Injective Protocol, Kava, Iris Network, and near scale Avalanche. And the second project within the POS umbrella is called P-Stake, which is something I'm super excited about, which is a liquid staking platform, kind of similar to what Lido Finance, if you've been following what they've been doing, or Rocket Pool, Stakewise, Staffy have been up to. So those are our three products at the moment.
There's a commodity trading platform. There's Audit. There's an Audit One, and what was the last one?
P-Stake.
Peace, as in
just the letter P.
Okay.
P and then stake.
Stake. Okay, I got it. And STAKE, not as in beef steak either. Okay. Now, I don't know much about DeFi. That's not true. I know more than most people about DeFi, but I don't have a fintech background, and I got into Bitcoin via gold and silver and learning about fiat currency back in long before 2013 was when I was learning about it, right? So I understand something about that. If we go through the bits and pieces of these ecosystems, let's very briefly, because I want to ask about the whole Persistence One vision as well. But the commodity trading platform, so you're trading physical commodities.
Yeah.
All right. Now, trading physical commodities for anyone, for businesses, how could I, as a individual retail token holder, get involved?
Yeah. So yes, absolutely. So physical commodities like wheat, copper, soybean, essentially all kinds of grains, metals, livestock, energy products. And like I mentioned, so on the proof of stake side, the two products that we have, which is Audit One and P-Stake, are retail focused. But Comdex, actually, which is the commodity trading platform, is an institutional facing product. So it is not geared towards retail folks. What Comdex does is it facilitates the trading of physical commodities for larger commodity trading organizations or family offices that are involved in the buying and selling of these commodities. And more specifically, it's the trading of bills of lading. A bill of lading is essentially a document that gives you ownership rights of a commodity on a ship in transit. And so it's a very, very niche sort of asset class that is not very widely understood, and it is a very closely guarded industry. But what we do is we just work with the right stakeholders. So we work with the right family offices across both Southeast Asia and South Asia to that they have the expertise and networks in terms of how to operate within this market. And so they bring in the business expertise while we bring in the technology expertise.
Right. Okay. So we're not talking about the actual physical trade of it, but people are where they would trade the paper certificates like the bill of lading.
Yeah.
Now,
lading. Yeah.
Bill of lading. Yeah. They're now trading tokenized certificates. Is that right? How does the token come into this?
Correct. So yeah, I mean, the tokens are essentially NFTs, right? So how do you tokenize a bill of lading? How do you tokenize a document? Like I mentioned, similar to how every CryptoPunk or how every CryptoKitty is unique, every bill of lading is unique. Because wheat originating from Canada is different from wheat originating from Australia. Right. And so these are captured, these details are captured in the bill of lading, and that bill of lading is represented on chain using NFTs. But similar to, and if you followed what NBA Top Shot has done, they have completely abstracted away the complexities of using Web3 applications. So you don't necessarily need to have a crypto wallet. You don't necessarily need to know how to store private keys in order to use NBA Top Shot. But in the background, you're using, all of the various, elements of what Web3 brings to the table. We've kind of done something similar where traditional commodity traders don't know how to store private keys. Traditional commodity traders don't want to, hold their assets in a crypto wallet. And so we've abstracted away all of those complexities and made it very simple for them and very user friendly, and have an interface that commodity traders would otherwise be used to or accustomed to.
Right. Okay. And what's the advantage for them? And also, how large is this industry?
Yeah. So, I mean, speaking of the size of the industry, cross-border commodity trading is a humongous market. It's a $17 trillion market with 80% of all trades happening on a financed basis, which means that it all happens on leverage. What was your second question? Sorry.
So $17 trillion industry, which most people don't know about. Certainly not me as a layperson, because you said like it's all a bit of a hidden guarded secret. And then the other question was, what are the advantages for people to use Persistence One?
Yeah. And so, I mean, I'll kind of just get into the benefits in a second, but yes. And, this is the, funny thing. I mean, first of all, very frankly speaking, I wouldn't have been in finance if it wasn't for crypto as well. I was working as a consultant to the banking industry, but again, I think there are these massive industries that no one pays attention to. But when I say cross-border commodity trading, it involves the trading of all of the oil that gets traded around the world. So all of the oil tankers that are moving across the sea, there are, real organizations and companies buying and selling, or nations, buying and selling oil, or buying and selling wheat or rice or barley or soya bean or cattle. It's just by design, it is meant to not be sort of in your face, or it is meant for, not meant for retail at some level to be traded, although, ultimately anyone can trade anything. In terms of the benefit that persistence, provides to Comdex as an application, I think there's a few things. The first thing is, when we talk about cross-border trades, during the settlement of the trade, when you settle via SWIFT, it's typically a T+2 or T+3 settlement, which means that, and T+2, T+3 business days, which means that if you wire on a Friday, it could take up to Tuesday or Wednesday for you to receive the finances. Especially in the case of commodity trading, where the notional amounts are so high, every extra day that it takes to settle a trade is opportunity cost in terms of another trade that could have been done, or opportunity cost in terms of interest that could have been earned on a high notional amount. What we do is we facilitate instant settlement as far as cross-border settlement of capital is concerned. The second thing is, we're not targeting the largest commodity trading organizations in the world. We're targeting trading organizations that are small to medium sized. These are the commodity trading organizations that have the most amount of trouble getting access to financing as well. What we do is we work very closely with trade financiers. In a lot of cases, the small to medium sized commodity trading organizations cannot get financing from banks, which the larger trading organizations like Trafigura, Glencore can get. So in that respect, we work with smaller family offices and trade financiers who actually help facilitate a lot of these trades. And over a period of time, what the traders end up doing is building a reputation on the platform, which allows them to then again get easier access to financing. One thing that I want to highlight is that, trying to solve this problem and the journey that we've kind of been through. The first use case was Comdex, but it's a use case that takes a real, like with a lot of things that are quote unquote traditional, it takes a really long time to actually realize your vision or to actually solve some of these problems, which is why what we wanted to do was create crypto native products in parallel as well, so as to not lose mind share of the holders of our coin, or so as to not lose mind share of our community members. So our journey has been very similar to that of Terra, where if you look into Terra, and Terra has done phenomenally well, you have Chai as their non-crypto user-facing application that helps in e-commerce payments. But basically, for 2 years, nobody cared about Terra, even though they had a lot of great traction. And the moment they came up with Anchor Protocol and Mirror Protocol, which are crypto-native products, suddenly they had a lot of traction and mind share in the industry. So for us, the journey has been very similar, where we have Comdex, but the pace at which Comdex grows is really slow, relatively speaking. And that's why we have Audit One and P-Stake, which are extremely fast-growing products or applications. Yeah, and so what we want to do is have mind share in the short term while also trying to build out a vision for the longer term.
Right. Okay. Very good. So the commodity trading, you're focusing on small to business, medium enterprises. It's a really, really large industry. One of the advantages you provide with crypto payments is immediate settlement, and you work with small to medium organizations like family offices and stuff to provide financing for them, which they couldn't otherwise get. And then
absolutely,
and they don't even need to know that they're using tokens or anything. And you've got financial backing in the background that you're able to access.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. All right. So that's and that's up and running right now and working.
Yeah. So yes, absolutely. So so slightly more than $100 million has been transacted on the Comdex platform as of so since Q1 this year. And so what Comdex has done is they've gone through multiple rounds of sort of like a pre-alpha alpha launch, but the sort of full-blown launch happened very recently. The $100 million has been staggered over a period of time, and in the broader scheme of things, that number is truly not that large given the size of the market. But like I said, the commodity trading is notoriously traditional. Like a lot of commodity trading organizations still use paper-based documents, to as part of their trading processes. So in that sense, like I mentioned, it's a little bit slow to implement that change. But we've still seen some promising results thus far in terms of the transaction volume that has taken place on this platform.
Great. Okay. All right. And do you have a target or an idea where it will be in a year's time in the trading volume?
Yeah. So not too far from here. I mean, I don't want to give off figures that are unrealistic, but we're targeting sort of slow growth year on year. And so this year we want to do about 150 million to 200 million more in transaction volumes, and then kind of grow at like 10 to 25% every year.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good. All right. Well, let's move on to the retail offerings you have currently. Which one do you want to talk about next?
Let's talk about P-Stake.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want me to get into what P-Stake is?
What is P-Stake?
Yeah. So from a high level perspective, this is something I always had in mind as well. What we want to do is create sort of a family of products. And again, what we've seen is, even with some of the other platforms, is that once you have one product that gets really good product market fit, then a lot of sort of community members and developers automatically start building things in and around your product.